Welcome back to the Chill Sounds and Breakdowns podcast. We took a little break. By we, I mean me, because you know what? Everybody needs a little break every now and then. But we're back. We're on episode 39, and I am just glad that the comeback is with my friend here. But today we have Bert from Bertshot from a whole bunch of projects, my man. I'm excited. How are you? I'm
good, buddy. Thank you for having me on.
Good,
I appreciate you. I hope you're doing well.
I'm doing better.
Yeah.
I'm doing a good time. I'm having a good time.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to talking again. This is kind of as it was a good month that I didn't do any one of these, and it's not really stepping back into it is kind of weird. It's just this format of talking to someone is a little weird sometimes when you haven't done it for a while, but. We're back. I'm glad it's with you because I'm a little more relaxed right now.
Absolutely, man. And plus, ever since going to more of the NoiseROT shows, I feel like it's so much easier just to be oh, there's OC. I can just go up there and talk to him.
We've definitely seen each other a lot more frequently because you've been going to a lot of shows to capture stuff.
Man, any shows I'm able to make, of course, having a car, I'm able to go to the post shows. Mm-hmm. Those are very close to me where I live, so making those shows is not too hard,
Yeah.
But then any chance I get to go to any other shows y'all have thrown on, I'm sadly didn't get to make the Animal Jam Adventure. Animal Jam, shout out.
Animal Jam,
I didn't get to go to their show, and I really wanted to film that one. I didn't get to make that one, unfortunately.
That was a good show. I didn't get to make that one. That day we split up.
But that's right. You had one in Denton, right?
It's the first time we've really split up into just 2-person teams because it's just 4 of us total. So 2 of us were at the Cheap Stakes for Adventure, Animal Jam, and Lilac Kings, and me and Ed were in Denton for a hardcore show with a Winter's Remorse, God Awful Truth, a bunch of it was nuts. I'm glad, literally, we were kind of nervous because we're okay, it's not the normal team, full team, handling each one of these, but both shows, were awesome. Had a great turnout on both. Plus, I had never been to Graffiti Pasta, which is J&J's now.
J&J's, I was about to say. I was trying to remember the name of the venue you did it at, but that used to be J&J's.
Yeah, and I hadn't been back since, so it was kind of cool to get to see it again.
How does it look? Does it look the same relatively?
It looked. I mean, I doubt the top they did definitely changed it, the restaurant portion of it. Still has a bar. It looks a little fancier. They redid it. The restrooms don't look as bad. But and the only thing they took that because remember they had that big painting in the back of the set where your drums were. I don't know if you.
I think it was like a square frame right behind the.
Yeah. They took that down, and I was oh, I missed that. But it's just like a picnic blanket. It looks on it. But I mean, I think the point of that place is just to this small enclosed space, and it makes just everybody act wild, which I'm. A fan of. I'm a fan of those the small shows where people just act crazy.
Yeah, especially those hardcore shows, man.
Yeah, those hardcore shows go wild. Those people turn out for each other. That's pretty cool. So far, have you had a favorite set that you've got to capture and record, or some of your favorites?
Some of the favorites, I definitely have top favorites is hard, but the most recent one I did, the Days one.
Oh, we were just saying that?
Yeah.
Shout out to you.
Shout out. They're really awesome, man. And so I've actually just been listening to them in general, so getting to see their set was just I want to record part of their set, but I want to put the camera down so I can actually enjoy them,
Yeah.
And they were awesome. I want to say that one's one of my top favorites. Mm-hmm. The next one is definitely the Lemonade Stand. I was still just starting off when I did their video, so I only got one song, but I wish I got more of their set just because they're an amazing band.
Yeah, they just finally dropped new music last month, so I'm sure they're gonna start doing a lot more shows.
Yeah, I actually checked them out with who else were they with? It was Lemonade Stand and
on the release.
Bad Dad Jokes.
Yes.
I had just gotten back from Padre that day, so I was let's go. I want to go see them. Lemonade Stand was awesome. They put on a great show that night.
They're really talented. That band's really fun to listen. They're throughout their bass player, their guitar player, every part of it is really neat to hear. And that old because I talked to I was about to say Tom because his last name is DeLong. It's not. It's Sam. His last name is DeLong, but his name is Sam. Right. But Sam has that little that crooner voice thing that matches up with everything, and it's just real smooth. But they're definitely a nice band. But you mentioned something that I wanted to kind of talk about, that feeling when you're recording sets and stuff where you feel let me put the camera down and actually just like enjoy this.
Yes.
Like that's got to be like one of the like the actual tough parts about like being able to record like the bands that you like, because it's like oh like you got a lot of stuff to worry about, like what you're actually doing, your placement, what your camera's doing,
composition and everything.
Yeah, exactly. Where you got like like you record the whole thing and like man like I didn't really get to like just enjoy that.
Man, like, and I want to say, like, there's only been, like, a few videos where I've been able to capture the full set, and I want to say, like, on those days, not that I wasn't, it sounds bad that I wasn't really worried about listening to the full set, but I was really, like, focused on getting the whole set, making sure everything wasn't shaky, out of focus, like, a proper good video of this band's entire set, you know? I want to say, like, these past 3 videos... except for the DTB one. DTB was awesome, and I told them I had to get their full set.
Nice.
But definitely like bands like Hestel and Light. I'm trying to think who else. Bad Lives, you know? I was just like, let me just capture some songs just because I really did want to get to hear them. I think I actually got like 3 songs in total from Bad Lives, and I only posted 1 just because like we were talking about earlier, just export times on 4K, man. This could take up the entire day.
Zenny.
What's up, buddy?
Zenny always tries to steal the spotlight.
It's okay.
But yeah, you were talking about that render time and just upload time on 4K. Like this last day's video, you said it took how long?
So the from editing the video on Premiere Pro and exporting that to like a hard drive, that took about 16 hours, which is like normal. Like it's 4K, they're giant files. But uploading to YouTube, man, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. Maybe like my Wi-Fi upload speeds isn't bad, but it took a full day and a half just to upload that.
That's absolutely insane.
40 gigabytes for like an 11-minute video.
That is crazy. And I thought like the podcast uploads are bad. I mean our internet I don't think is like the greatest, but it still takes like 2.5 hours. Like, and they're hour episodes, but I don't shoot 4K, so that's the difference.
Right,
if I was,
man.
that's one of the things. Like if I was, like they'd be taken because like. That's how long is a day's video? Like, for example,
11 minutes.
11 minutes, and it took you a day and a half for 4K. If I made this bitch 4K, like an hour-long episode,
take a month to record each episode.
Literally, just to like render out and like upload, and it's like you'd get 1 episode a month. So that's one of the primary reasons why I chose not to do 4K, because I'm like, oh, my computer can probably like it's gonna take a while like to process that stuff, and then to actually upload it. I didn't know how long that stuff took. I actually used to upload at like at my ex-girlfriend's place, and her internet, like she used to like online game, or I think probably still does. If you do, shout out. Hope you're doing well.
That's fine. We appreciate it.
But that shit. So I upload here, and it would take. I uploaded the longest video I have, which is the podcast with Dizzy, and that took 3 minutes.
3 minutes
On her internet, yeah.
Really?
On her internet, that's what I would. Yeah. 4K? Stupid. No, it wasn't 4K. No, but it's still like our episodes here take me 2.5 hours, and over there they were uploading in 2 minutes.
See, man,
like I'm like that's
internet or something.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, you know what? I just might need to pay that extra amount just to like save that time, because that was ridiculous to me. I was like, upload, and then like I turned around and turned back, and I'm like, let's see how long it's gonna take, and it's like done, and I'm like,
dude, that turned your entire what's the word I'm looking for? Like workful, like that goes up like 1,000%.
Because I can do, because that's the thing. Like I don't do anything else on the computer. Like try to edit something else while that's uploading, because I don't want anything, or like do anything because I don't want anything to cloud up the internet. Yeah, or the computer. And I'm like, oh, well, that's an hour or 2 hours that I don't touch my computer for. Which, if I'm already sitting down to like upload and stuff, it means I'm in like the workflow like mode, and like I just kind of like puts a stop to it, and I'm like, so productivity kind of lowers down. So definitely internet is definitely an investment, I would say, in this. But yeah, that's crazy, that processing time, man. But dude, how long have you actually been like filming and like editing stuff?
So I want to say like the filming started about. So the first thing I actually filmed, like deep cut here, was Che's verse music video, the cooking music video. That is the first thing I've ever.
That's the first thing you did?
The first thing I ever did.
Whoa.
I didn't get to edit that video. Che edited that video, but I did shoot everything in that, and that was I want to say that was 2020. 2020, or it was when Snowmageddon happened. We were snowed in. We were like, all right, let's film a music video. Yeah. And then I want to say ever since then, I had started dabbling in recording video. Shooting the live videos started in February of this year, actually.
Yeah.
The first video was Cirrhosis. and I actually got to capture that full set, thankfully enough. I had 2 cameras at the time, so I was able to get multiple angles on there.
Oh, nice.
The sound guy was awesome enough to let me set up a tripod on like a top of a bookshelf. I had to get like this ladder. The angle on there is like really tight, you know? And so I was just like, man, like if I just had more, not to say I don't, but like if I had like more people speaking skills, I feel like I could do like cooler like angles with my cameras and stuff at different venues, you know, like talking to the sound guy at Mass for the Day show. Like I really, I feel like that's the only thing separating my videos from being like good to like really good is just audio. Right now I'm using this Tascam DX60.
Oh, I've seen you. It's like a separate like audio like recorder thing.
It's separate entirely. And I put it right there, like on top of my rig, right next to my monitor, so it's right there. I'm trying my best not to hit it because you'll hear it. But it's awesome, man. $60, and it captures mono audio. And I'm not the best at editing, but I think what I do get on there is like not bad. But I really, really want to get that sound audio.
But again, the stuff straight off the board or like the mix, dude. that would like be amazing. Because I remember that's what I can't remember who it was, but it's back in the day when I used to look up like because I still do. I love looking up live videos of bands, like especially like if I just found them like on like streaming something or they come out, I'm like, dude. Oh, like I want to hear what they sound like live because I want to go see them or whatever. And if like some of the bands are like obscure or like they're not like a big band that's like touring or anything, so I'm like I'm not gonna get to see them live for a minute, so seeing stuff like that. But I used to see this guy, I can't remember what he is. There's 2, I think one's called Applecore. They're both out of California, right? And then one's called I think it's like Avenge of the Dead or something, but they were just like live videos, and I saw them go from like a camera on a tripod just recording a live set with that live sound to like the getting camera work done, and then now like to where they I think they recorded it was like a Dayseeker. They did it was like a concert in the park thing, but it was like Dayseeker and like Emerosa and it's like a bunch of other bands, but it's like I forgot how many fucking angles they have like full now. Production. Yeah, it's full production now, and I'm like that's insane because like I know where they started. Started as one guy just like doing that shit like for fun, but it was still. I still appreciated like every video from like that beginning like to end part of that stuff. I'm like, dude, like I was there for like the process. Like I still enjoyed like all like the videos up until that because I love seeing like music and taking it home because that live experience is kind of hard to really capture, man.
Right, and plus, especially like you just said, you know, capturing it, it's just like. And that draws back into like wanting to actually enjoy the show, you know, because it's like. I don't want people to think that I just show up to your show just to film it and like, oh yeah, thanks for letting me film your show. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. You know, it's like no, I need to, you know, enjoy, you know, film, get stuff, the content I want to put on my channel, but at the same time, I need to, you know, actually listen to the bands, you know, and then stuff from that like breeds like me actually listening to their music. I can't tell you like. All these bands that I filmed, like even the ones I like that aren't my friends that I personally know, I listen to them now, you know, just because it's like, wow. If I just sit there and actually listen to what's going on, no camera, I'm just here in the moment, I actually do enjoy some of the music I'm seeing live. And so that's why I feel like, that's why I want to capture it live, just because if I like it, I definitely know someone else is going to like it.
And here's the thing, I mean, like, you're not going to like everything, but what you're giving, like, those bands is an opportunity for them to have something to share to, like, people to get more people to listen to them, or that's something, like, that's a form of, like, content that they, like, wouldn't have otherwise, you know, to share, to get more people to be like, I want to go see them live. Like, I want to go see a show because, I mean, I consider myself lucky because I have the opportunity to go to, like, a lot of stuff. Like, you know, when I think about, like, hey, a band's coming, I don't really ever have to think about, like, can I go to that? Like, I just have to think about if I want to or not. Exactly. Like, there's not a lot of, like, really limiting. Sure, like, money and stuff like that sometimes it's like I can't afford some of these. But as far as, like, being able to, yeah, like, I can just jump out. But a lot of people, like, either can't get like days off to go see this, or like it takes there's some people where it takes like a whole like effort, like a huge amount of effort just to make one show, you know what I mean? So man. Being able to sit at home or, you know, on your TV or on your phone or anything and just watch live sets, which I've done here. Like, you know, I've like just sat down and looked up. Like, I love when I can find like a whole set of something and I'm like, oh, I'll just play it like on TV. Right, man. And like let it play and listen to it. I'm like, this is cool. Sure, I'm not there, but like it's still like I still get to hear these songs like performed live.
I definitely like enjoy, like you said earlier, like once I enjoy a song, I'm like, man, is there a live performance? Is it like, and I will go back to that live performance just because I really love energy And I feel like there's tons of bands here in the DFW area that just need to have that, like, you need to see them live. You need to have this bird's eye view of what you could be seeing, you know? And let's just get this out of the way. There's no secret that I am hugely influenced by Hate 5-6. That's the whole reason why I wanted to start doing this video, is just because, like, I love music. I love getting to see the live atmosphere, and I want to be able to do that production on, like, just for bands in general. Like for instance, let's just say, like, if y'all were to throw, like, a festival or something, I would love I would love to have, like, 4 cameras on deck, you know, like, I have another shooter with me, you know. That's in a perfect world, but I mean, that's the goal. That's what I would really love to do, just for, like, my scene here, is just to, like, hey, there's a show coming up. Let me see if I can talk to the promoter, make sure it's cool with them that I can shoot at the show. Yeah. Let me see if there's, like, a sound guy I can talk to get, like, the audio, and, like, it seems like the perfect formula, and I don't see anything else I really want to do besides that for right now.
So that's kind of evolved into your main focus, like, at the moment.
I will say, like, I do, like, focus on, like,
hey, no,
buddy, those are some expensive lights.
Those are expensive.
We got DJ in the back doing damage control. Shout out.
we can't be having that mess around. We got some professional lights here, courtesy of Bert. I don't got that type of money. DJ's choking him out off camera.
Get him.
As a joke.
But yeah, man, it's
But yeah, you said you shifted, like, your focus to that, like, at the moment.
I definitely want to do, like, other stuff. I've run, like, so many of my crazy ideas by you on, like, what I want to do, you know? But that's the thing. I want to take those ideas and actually make them into, like, you know, like, my dream has always been, like, I want to do, like, a film. Either full length or, like, a short film, you know? And it wasn't until I started doing the live shows that I'm just like, man, I'm enjoying this way much more, you know? Yeah. And it's not like I had to sit here and decide one or the other. I just definitely had to pick a focus, which one that's like the rig you see me carry at shows, like, that is specifically for, like, these live shows. I have, like, 2 handles so my arms aren't tired, filming for 30 minutes at a time, 6 bands each, you know? Yeah. And so, I just really want to be able to evolve to where I can be like, a run and gun situation. Like, hey, I need this music video shot. I can do that. Or, hey, like, I'm getting this movie together and I need a DP. I got you, bro. You know? Yeah. Or, like, and it's just easy as, like, hey, my band's, let's say a friend messages me on Instagram. My band's playing this day. Would love if you come out, you know? And it's not like I'm doing this as, like, a service, you know? I think that's, like, I don't know. I think that's kind of messed up, just to sit here and be like, I'm going to come to your show, charge you money to get footage of that. I mean, I very well could, but I just don't see how that doesn't seem right to me. And that's why it's just like, let me find these shows, let me go to them, and let me actually talk to these bands first before they start playing, you know, if I have a chance to. Like, hey, guys, is it cool if I get this down? Like, can I put this on YouTube? Can I, like, send this to y'all? Like, is it cool if I use this? And actually, 100% of the time, I don't think I've had anyone today say no. I was literally about to ask, like, has anyone said no? 100% success rate.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, again, like, it's something that a lot of these, like, bands, like, won't get a chance soon, or can, like, really, like, prioritize, like, hey, like, let's spend, like, money on, because, like, the stuff that you do, like, is, like, it's definitely, like, expensive. I know you're not, like, doing it as a service or anything. And then you get to, which allows you, like, I get to pick more freely, like, what I want to do. Exactly. And it's more, like I said, you're doing it at a place of passion, which, again, lets that keep, it lets you keep doing it as, like, a creative exercise and just learning more and being able to, like, just enjoy, like, what you do. Because you were saying, like, as far as, like, everything, like, that Days video you shot on Wednesday and, like, put it out, like, today. You know what I mean? Like, which is Thursday, like, the next day, like, figuring all that out, which is, it just shows, like, how much you actually, like, enjoy, like, doing it. But, all these, like, bands I know, like, are super appreciative that someone is offering, like, to do that for them. But yeah, I know you, like, spoke about, like, doing, like, a film too.
Dude, that's a big dream of mine, is to do a film, especially, like, something like I don't know. I had these crazy ideas. I would love to do, like, you know, the movie This Is Spinal Tap.
I know of it, but I haven't seen it. I've never seen it.
It's a fake documentary movie about a fake band. Well, no, it's a documentary about a fake band,
Okay.
and like they're called Anvil, and the whole movie is just making fun of a live band. Like they're like they have 5 minutes till they need to be on stage, and so they're like, all right, they're all walking out. You know, they got cool footage of them walking, and they're walking for like 10 minutes, and like, where's the stage? Like they get what
the fuck?
You know, and like I don't necessarily like. I think that'd be such a fun concept to do here in like a DFW, like kind of put our own spin on it. You know, I'd love to do something like that. I've actually like kind of have like halfway of a draft filled of like a horror movie or like a horror short movie I really want to do. It's just a matter of like, you know, life gets in the way. Yeah. And so I definitely want to get to where I can like have a full story written out, get it kind of like storyboarded. That way I can actually, I feel like once that organization's out of the way, then it can be pursued. Like this is like, okay, I can start on this now. Like all the prep work is ready.
Now it's easy to kind of like, and approach everybody who you're going to need and be like, hey, this is what I have
need,
a concept.
yes.
Like this is all of it. Like it's not just like the idea kind of thing. Cause there's sometimes where I'll come up with like stuff and I'm like, yeah, this can be done. And I don't prepare anything for it. I'm like, I need to like wait before I start. It's like start pitching like this stuff and have like a plan. And it makes that like so much easier and so much easier to get people to help you like with it. Literally. Because they're like, oh, like they know exactly like what they want to do. Like it's
I got
not
hit
like
with
a guessing thing.
scheduling supposed to make it easier on everyone. Yeah, and I was like, man,
it makes sense.
It really is, you know.
That's what like when I got a head like on this stuff, that's all it took. It literally was just like I made a schedule and I knew like who was coming when stuff had to get edited by, like what other stuff I need to post, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then once like I got off of it, like I was like, shit, this is hard, and it got back to that. But like just getting like that little bit of organization helps you be able to manage more and be able to take on more, because like sometimes like when I'm not organized, I feel like I can't get anything done.
I actually want to ask you something about that, like when it comes to like these podcasts. Hold up.
Oh my god, how the turntables.
You stole it from me, damn it.
Damn it, is that what you're gonna say?
It was trying to remember it, I messed it up. But like whenever you do these podcasts, is it ever like, oh, I have like an idea in mind, or is it a collaborative effort? Is it just like, what goes into that, and like what research like do you do like in terms of like who you're interviewing?
Like who do I pick like to get on?
Like who do you pick, and like how do you approach the interview? Like do you know off the bat what you're gonna say, or do you need like some prep time too?
So as far as like picking people, it's a little bit of like who personally like I'm just a fan of, and who like I like would like to talk to, and it's also some like who actually wants to be on. Like again, like I think I've only had I haven't had anybody say no. I've had people like not be able to make it and stuff like that, but nobody's like rejected the idea. But that just goes into like sometimes like I'm like, oh, it'd be really cool to talk to this person, and then sometimes it's just for a bit, I think when I think you were here, but when Che was here, like I get in my head sometimes, and I'm like, oh, like maybe I don't think these people want to be on, but most people like ended up like we either are friends already or we become friends like on the podcast, right. which is kind of cool. As far as like research into people, I do. It's gonna sound lazy, but I don't do over research. Like it's not because I don't have like a list of questions for you, right. Unless I like. There's stuff that I might like have in mind. I'm like, oh, like I'd like to ask him about this, but I don't over prepare because I hate stuff that sounds real like robotic-y, right. And it's like, oh, like if I looked down and was like, yeah, also like this question, or where it sounded like I had a formula. I like when I started listening to podcasts, like interview type podcasts, mm-hmm. I really like the ones that were just like people talking and organic, and that was my purpose behind the podcast. When initially it was like, hey, let's promote Chill Sounds, but then like the idea, like that was my pitch to DJ, like for him to like be on board with the idea of doing a podcast, like, hey, we'll do it because it'll promote the festival. But as far as like my idea for the actual podcast was like, I want to be able to give these like artists and like these musicians like just a personality. Some people might see them from afar and see just the music or what they saw at a performance, but they don't get to talk to people. They don't know like what they sound like. They don't know like this and that. So it's offering that personality and be able to showcase that to like people who don't get a chance to talk to you. It's also like a long format conversation. So it's not like limited to like 10 minutes, like, which is where I would be like, I have to know exactly what I need to ask you because of time. But because here, like, I mean, an hour is a pretty good like conversation, but we always end up leaving like being like, man, like that could have gone longer, like that could easily, because there's a lot to talk about. But I like them to sound as organic as possible, so I come up with like ideas and questions in my head that like of just stuff that I want to know personally of. Like it's never quite really like, oh, like I know people must be wondering this. It's always like I'm just naturally curious about stuff. So I asking you about like what you're doing like is actually me genuinely wanting to know what you're doing. Right. So most of it comes out of that. So it's not too complicated when it comes to like figuring out how to talk. And I've always like I think
meeting a friend.
I think it was a Disney. Yeah, no, and it kind of just helps. You know what I mean? Like, because like a lot of like conversation these days is a lot of like the short form stuff, messages back and forth. Like, I can't remember last time I had like a phone call just to talk to somebody. Right. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like these are nice, like personally for me, just to be able to talk to somebody. But it also offers that like just really like genuine personal like touch to something. Like you don't have to. I don't want people coming out here feel like they have to put on a show and like, oh, it's got to be funny, it's got to be entertaining. It's like, no, it's just got to be.
We're just talking.
You, yeah. It's like just talk to me the way you would talk to me anywhere else. You know what I mean? And then same thing with me. Like I just try to act the way I would act with, you know, anybody here. Like so, it's not. I'm not hyper like fixated or focused on like, oh, like am I saying the right thing? I do that after when I'm like listening to it and editing it later. I'm like, why did I say that? Or like so, but that's who I am. That's the whole point. It's like trying to show like you know, our artists and people in a more natural like light.
I was about to say, man, that's not easy. I was about to say, like trying to talk to so many people. That's not even the difficult part. I guess it's more or less just like I don't know, like seeing like meeting people for the first time. That's just where I struggle with, you know, is just like trying to open up. What are we actually going to talk about? Yeah. But like when I watch these podcasts and it's like, I guess like first time meeting, it doesn't really feel like there's this awkward like. Every episode feels like you already know the person you're talking to, regardless if you do know them.
And there's been some where I'm like meeting people for the first time on the podcast, like them showing up here to like the apartment is like the first time. Like, hey, so this is your name. This isn't cool. And he's like, all right. And then like I just like for like people I don't know, like I give them like preemptive stuff, like you know, it's like anything like off topic, something like that for you. Like if I don't know you, or even if I do, I still ask. You know, it's just like, but. Other than that, it's like, okay, like we'll just talk. And I normally start, I don't banter too much before this because I want this to be like that.
You want to capture this on.
Yeah, I want to make sure like it's captured. And it has become a comfort zone before. Before it wasn't. Before it was like new. It was like a podcast. So I was still intimidated, which is why I got like
nervous.
Which is why like I think Jesse was my first one, and I'm like, I was like, could you do this? Like Jesse, like girl from It Is What It Is, and he's like, just show up. It's gonna be easy. Like I just need someone that I like am comfortable with. And I think the first 3 were people that I knew, and then I had like I think Blaze Culture come by, right? And then I didn't know any of those guys, and it was 4 of them, like literally 4 of them in like a room, and it was just me, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people, and then like I was like, I don't know. I go, what do I know? And then because they're like a brand for like extreme sports or like skateboarding and BMXing, and I'm like, I played Tony Hawk's, like that's as much as I got on that, you know what I mean? Like I was like, and it got me through.
There you go, man.
But this has become like that comfort. But I'm good at talking in that zone. I have the same kind of like a little turbulence when it comes to like meeting new people outside of this realm and then asking them for stuff. You know, like especially like I know for years like, hey, like can I like get up on these angles or be able to manage this? And like that's also something that I struggle with. And I talk like it's like I'm good outside of this in short bursts with people, but like this long like format, like being real comfortable like I can do it here. I struggle with it like outside of here, which is kind of it's funny,
jarring, but it makes sense, you know.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, like you must like be okay, like talking. I was like, I have a hard time. Like I'm like anxious as hell. Like
I love keeping to myself.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because like I feel like I have moments where like my personality is very outgoing, and then moments where it's just like not. So it's just like. Depends on the day, like for me.
Like even the first time, like I was on with the Bad Astronauts podcast. You know, that was my first time actually meeting you, and
that's
just
true, yeah.
And I mean, I had a beer in my hand, but I was just like, this feels so much easier just to like open up and talk about, just genuinely talk. You know, it didn't feel like it was like. I don't know, like some scheduled programming thing, radio, internet host, like, not to say that's a bad thing, but it just felt super easy, like, just to be able to talk to you about. And even after the podcast, like, the episode ended, we still talked for like a whole 2 hours, not 2 hours, but
we talked for a while, afterwards. I remember. And I think I was meeting a few, like, I think you and TJ. I met TJ. And and again, I was like, I was like, okay, like I've talked to Jay like a few times.
Right.
I go, okay, like I think I got this. Like I got one person that I can focus on. But like it ended up like I was able to talk like to everybody. I did lower like amount to like smaller groups, so I do like maximum like 2 people now at a time. Because I like this. I like being able to like to look at you while I'm talking. That's the thing that I struggled with over there. And then when I was hosting it like on the couches and stuff like that, it was really relaxed and like I think the way it was faced, you were looking at cameras like, inside and stuff. But here, like I can just look at you and like just talk, so it feels a little more natural. But like learning how to do this is cool, and like even seeing you like help me like set up like today, which is cool. Which is why if you notice that it looks a lot better, it's because Bert here is magic as heck, and man, I don't know if I can go back to them looking like crap. So we might have to work together on something.
Hey man, you might have seen a little bit more of me. That's fine.
But man, you've been shooting a lot of cool stuff. Now, music wise, I don't know if it's a secret. You were mentioning some stuff for here.
So no, definitely not a secret. Just
no pressure, all right?
Right, yeah, no, I can talk about this. I can talk about this one. For a fact, I can talk about this one. So, it's just a side project that probably started off about maybe, not to get deep here, but my grandfather recently passed, and like when that happened, man, like I haven't had to deal with grief in a while. So whenever that happened, I just felt like, of course, I wanted to be around my family. I wanted to be around friends. I wanted to be surrounded with the music my grandpa really liked. And it wasn't until like I got alone, I'm by myself, of course you need to cry, you need to feel all these emotions, but the only thing I felt like in the moment of like my grandfather passing was just like, I need to write, I need to play something. Let me get a guitar, let me tune it to a tuning I never play to. And it just birthed this like really cool, like noise rock, shoegaze music. And it's nothing that like it's not music that was like in my family, I don't think anyone else in my family listens to music like that, but it's just dealing with those emotions was just like, this is the only thing I felt like I really could write at the time. And so from that, start a new side project right now. Currently just by myself, but I am working on bringing in 2 other people that would just kill this project. And, it's about as much info I can give right now,
That's
but
cool.
We got some demos going right now. And, although I haven't been playing music in a little bit due to some reasons, but I'm looking to get back on it just because, like, even though I love filming these shows, there's no feeling I miss more than being on stage. Like, anytime I see a band and I'm like, all right, man, it's my turn to get up on stage, like, let's go. I'm ready. I'm pumped,
Yeah.
And so I feel like you can relate to that a little bit, though,
So much. God, I hate like how long it's been inside. Like, because the last thing, I've done 2 things this year that like I thought I was like good. I still was like I would like love to do music, but I was like kind of like calm for a while. Then we started NoiseROT and I started going to like a bunch of shows, and I'm like, damn, these are really cool. And then we played at the 420 Takedown Festival.
I was there
because we like just. The funny thing is, literally the only reason that our band played was because we like had people dropping the show, and we're like, we had one drop, and I'm like, I told DJ, I was like, you know what? I'll do it.
Back.
We'll do it. We'll strap it. And I was like, whatever, yeah.
You son of a bitch.
And then and then another band dropped, and we're like, hey, dude, we might have to play. But that shit was fun. That shit was super fun, and like we hadn't played those songs in years because we took a year off before the pandemic. Then when we were gonna play was the Chill Sounds 2, the first date, when it got pushed back, and then so we didn't play that. And then we didn't play. We were gonna play Chill Sounds 2, the second date, and then we didn't get to do that either. Yeah. So we're like, oh, we played that, and I'm like, oh, like that was really cool. And then the only other thing I did was we had Cat Bamboo come by the second time.
That's right. Yeah, you jumped on stage, dude. That was awesome.
That's what I get because I was talking shit. I was like, hey, Kurt Travis isn't here this time. I'll do that song. I know it. I knew most of it.
Yeah, I mean,
but I knew like melodies. I was like, I can figure this out. And that was fun. And I'm just like, dude, like, I missed like just being up here and being able to like sing and stuff. So definitely,
and you were like getting it a little bit, doing the shoulder shrug. I was like, okay, we'll see.
Yeah, it's fun. Like it's definitely a feeling like no other, man. Like
I miss it more than anything, man.
Yeah, like we get to do like some cool stuff like in NoiseROT, but like still like that's still and all of us literally. That's why like I keep saying it and no one's gonna believe me now because I keep saying like, oh me, we're working on a project. We're trying to literally like it's me, Ed, and DJ, which I'm like. Who else like would I have like a better time like doing? Like we're already like super close friends, and like, right now I just want to make shit. Like I just want to make music that's just fun for me. Like I have no agenda other than the fact that like I want to write stuff and that's it. Like that's it. And play shows. Other than that, that's one thing I was losing. I think towards the end of like Under Oblivion was that I stopped making music like for fun, and I'm like. You know, I just want to make music now like that's like that, like that I enjoy, that I actually like would listen to, you know, and play, and that's like the only like direction that the band really has right now. Because we keep throwing like ideas at each other, and they're all like slightly different. But I'm like, you know what? If it's a good song, we even thought about becoming our own like opener band for like when we have shows drop, and just like we just have to be able to adapt to any show that we have. It's like we'll have a heavy set, we'll have a
I didn't even think about that, man.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, we could be our own backup. Like we're always at all of them.
That's like a big thing in like most hardcore like community like scenes. Like each band has like everyone in that band is probably like their own other band, maybe two other bands, you know, and they all you know, they all start bands, they all end, they all go on, you know, and like I just think it's beautiful that at the end of the day, like no matter what, like all through the promotion, working life, like music's still there at the end of the day, you know, you can just go back to it, like whether like I want to listen to it or like I just want to write something I don't even normally write, you know, and it's an awesome feeling, you know, and I think I want to get back to it so bad.
Yeah, that's one thing I've been exploring a little bit more is, and then the only way like I can do it quickly is like I started like just finding a lot of like musicians on TikTok who just like make like guitar loops and stuff like that, and I'm like, you know what? I just want to write something today. Like I don't want to take 2 days on it. Like I'll write a 15-second like line here and there, but I'll explore like. I don't normally sing this way. Like, let me sing that way. Like, because there's no risk to it, but it's cool, like, just to write it. And then, like, they're not... I would even consider it's like, I don't know if that's good. But then I have, like, my friend who's like, who's to decide what's good? It's like, just do it. And I'm like, yeah. And I also heard, like, another line where someone's like, you don't have to be good at your hobbies. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Like, he's like... And I'm like, so, like, I stopped stressing about, like, this needs to be perfect. And more I'm like, I just want to create something. Because that's, like... I feel like I feel a little dumb every time I rediscover it, but that's when I'm like the happiest. That's why like it's like whether it's like doing this, whether it was like when I was doing the vlog, whether it was the band, whether it was anytime I make something, it just that creates happiness for me. Like when I create something, I put it out, I'm like, I made this, you know. I'm sure it's like whoever, if you do like stuff with your hands and like woodworking or something like that, it's probably the same like joy that you get out of that. But like, and I get it out of all like these creative outlets, and like that's when I feel like it's like, oh, I made this, and I look at it. You know what I mean?
I love the feeling, man. That's why
it's a great feeling.
That's why I do the videos. That's why I just want to keep striving to do different things. You know, I feel like life's too short just to do one thing. You know? Yeah. I don't want to go down as just like the videographer. I want to go down as like director of cinema. You know, like a comic book artist. I can't reveal that information yet, but you know
what comic?
What comic?
Indeed.
What are you
talking about?
But you know, like there's so many things I want to do, and that like draws back to music. Like not only do I want to do this shoegaze and noise like pop, dream pop like band, I really want to do like I want to DJ so bad.
Oh yeah,
I want to DJ house music so bad, man. That is just like. Not like I wouldn't call it a passion. It's just like to me that is just like an actual hobby. Like that'd be like, hey man, I'm DJing this Saturday. You know, like come out, we're getting sweaty. You know. Yeah, but
again, that goes back to like I think I used to, and I still maybe do a little bit, but I used to put a lot of pressure on like if I do something, I have to like be good at it, and I just like have been rediscovering just like why don't I just do stuff to do it, and like if it's not good, who cares? Like because at the end of the day, it still delivers that same feeling towards me. Whether like that ends up being something good or not, like I still created something. Like it's still good. And then like who's to say, like, you know, like right now I think I'm good at what I'm doing, but I could be better at something else that I haven't yet to try. You know what I mean? Like I could try tennis and be like crazy good at that. Like maybe I won't be professional, but maybe that's the thing that gives me joy like later on in life. Like sometimes it's for me, like I think about it sometimes. I was like, you know what, the thing that like might be the thing that gives me happiness might not be the thing that gives me like success in anything, or what's considered like success, you know, like in a monetary like value, like, but it might be like what feels like gives my life purpose or like makes me happy, like throughout life.
That's how I found with, I mean, that's what I felt like I found with the video, you know. It was just like, I mean, I had taken pictures when I was in school. And, like, my family has, like, a nice camera and whatnot. But it wasn't until, like, I got my camera and was just like, oh, man, like, I forgot how much I enjoyed doing this. Yeah. This was, like, turned out as something like, hey, what are you doing? Let me take some pictures of you. It turned into now, like, hey, like, when are you playing? I want to film your set. I want to get, like, send me your email so I can get PNGs of your band's logo. You know, like, every little thing that goes in that process just becomes, like, I don't see it as work. I just see it as, like the fun routine of like what goes into this like profession, you know? Yeah. And I appreciate that so much more because like, you know, when you first start off anything, you're learning as you go, you know? Yeah. And like, I feel like now I'm at a point where, of course I'm still learning, you know, but I feel like I'm actually producing like really, really good work, you know? And that's just all I want to do. I want to be able to do quality work, get, and just do like more shows. Of course, I want to play more shows, but I mean, just getting to go to shows and just work that, I feel like that brings me joy. Truly.
Yeah. That makes you happy, and then that's cool that you are seeing that, because I being able to see that and just being like, hey, like what stuff is actually just making me not feel bad. Like it's weird, but like you like there's certain things and I don't see it till like I'm after the fact, but you're like, I'm not feeling good doing a lot of stuff. Like, why don't I...
Like, stuff you love.
Yeah, stuff that, like, you know, you're supposed to love. And I'm like, I'm not having a good time, like, right now. Or I'm struggling, or I'm doing this. I mean, just, I guess, to be honest, like, that's why, like, I stopped doing the podcast for a bit. Not because I wasn't enjoying it, because I was having a hard time, like, doing it. And I'm like, this is a lot harder than I, like expected. It just got a little bit overwhelming for me, and then I spent time feeling guilty because like I haven't put another one out, like this and that, blah blah blah. And it got to the point where like now, like even doing it right now, I'm just like, okay, I needed that little break, because like right now it feels like I'm back on it, and I feel like this is where I got to be, like right now.
Clockwork.
You know what I mean? Like it's back to it, and I feel that sense of purpose again. I don't feel as overwhelmed. I feel like just even like getting my whole like setup done again, and like, you know, having you help out and stuff like that. I was like, this is what I like. I was thinking about it the other day, even like before asking you to do the podcast, I was talking to Ed actually, and I'm like, you know what, I just need I like doing this stuff. Why don't I find like more people to hang out with that do similar things, so we can just like hang out and like talk about this stuff. And literally, you were the first like person that came to my head, and I was like, you know, besides the podcast, I was like, we should just like hang out and like figure out like. Yeah. So I was like, you know what I mean? Like it's because like it's something that I can explain an idea, and I feel like we could understand each other and build off of that. And I'm like, yeah, like, it's a whole, like, my friend, Dimitri the other day, like, gifted me tickets to a podcast, like, convention happening in Dallas.
What?
And I'm just, yeah.
A convention?
If you're not doing anything next Tuesday, like, I have an extra ticket. But anyways, yeah, she's like, yeah, they're having this over here. I'm like, okay. And normally, like, probably wouldn't go to that, but I'm like, I don't know if I'll find anything there, but it's people doing something that I'm doing. I'm sure, like, we're going to have something in common here.
I don't see it as any different than meeting like bands, you know?
Yeah, and it's stepping out of like that little bit, because like off of this, I really haven't talked to anybody else that's done like podcasting or interviewing or anything like that particularly. And it's something I'm like, oh, like maybe that's like that. I talk about it all the time with like bands and stuff. Like literally you can find a bunch of podcasts like, yeah, being collaborative with stuff is like really important to grow. And I'm literally like, I haven't collabed with anybody like at all. But it's definitely something that I look at. I'm like, oh, like maybe that's what I'm missing. Maybe that's what like will keep me going and making it a little bit more fun is to learn from other people and be open to like learning from other people and stuff like that. Which is why like I'm excited to start like working on stuff with like even like with you, like some of the stuff we were talking about will be really cool to kind of get worked out and flushed out.
I'm very excited, man. And that's the thing, like you, DJ, Ed, lovely Ed.
DJ's back there.
Yeah, you can't see him, but he's back there.
He's doing work.
The three of y'all, and of course Bernie too. You know, like y'all have just been super nice to me, and it's just like I don't know, like seeing y'all work, seeing all the stuff you do for the scene, like because you know we were all growing up in the same scene back in like early like 2013, 2012, and so on. Like there were maybe like 3 promotions in total. You know, probably more. You know, but it just feels like now that y'all are around, and you know, like of course you have other companies too, or you know, promotions, but I don't know. It just feels like there's organization to the scene. There's more shows being put on. There's just I'm seeing what you're doing, and even though it's like the production side of what music goes into, y'all make it look so fun. You make it look like I actually want to do it. You know, like that's why like when you asked me like to do some certain ideas coming up, it's like, dude, yes, that sounds super fun. I feel like. I don't know. I just feel like I can then put something towards it that would help everything, you know?
It's kind of nice being able to look at it that way. And when you know, DJ had the idea first to do this, I was like on board, but I kind of still was like figuring out my purpose and all of it. And I'm like, because all I knew was like, I was like, hey, if we do NoiseROT, I'm like, the podcast will be absorbed by it. I go absorb it by it because it's serving the same purpose. I think I can see it from my side. Like you are handling like the shows and stuff like that. I go, but what can like I offer to it? It's like I want to offer it still the same thing. Let's keep highlighting these like local artists. Like that's I know I can do that well. Right. And then like starting to do. Thank you, I appreciate that. But starting to do like the little like clips of stuff of like songs, recommending songs, things like that, like upcoming shows, creating like content for like the locals to like share or anybody like to share and stuff like that, commercials for bands. Like I was like, this seemed like the simplest like thing, like idea like to do. I go, but it's also like I've had a lot of bands come up and was like, hey, that was really cool. No one else is like doing that. Even like some of the touring bands, like it's like, oh, like we'll do like just like whatever little reels and like not TikTok yet, not yet, but stuff like that. And it to me, I'm like, yeah, this is something like easy to do. I'm not gonna say easy, but it's not a complicated idea, but it's again another thing like you're like where the bands are like super appreciative of you. Like I've had like same thing, like same success of like people coming up and being like thankful of like not only acknowledgement but showing like yeah they have like they're valued. You know what I mean? That's one thing that I wanted to do, to be able to offer. I'm like I want the bands to know that we like are rooting for them. You know what I mean? It's not just like we need you to play this show and play and then like you're done and this and that. I'm like I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I, you know, like what can, and like I said, in my standpoint is like what can I make, what can I create. I always like look at like as a thing like at the end of the day like I just like to entertain. So that's, and I look at everything that I've done. So like that's what I try to add to like those videos and stuff that we create for bands. Like, okay, like how can I use, you know, whatever gift that I've been like given or whatever, like the ability to be able to talk to people or like the ability to, I don't know, I guess like I consider like my sense of humor sometimes like, you know, one of those things. So I try to use that and like, how do I spread like more of these like bands, like music and just like artists, like their art and stuff like that. How do I work, to help them? And it's made me feel a lot like better, you know what I mean? To know that I'm doing my best, like I'm trying to do something for like the scene that's helping it, that I wish like somebody would have done like for me, because I remember being that like being in a band and them creating. I think like we played a show and they made a video and it just flashed our name on the screen and I'm like, that's so fucking cool. Right? Like but, you know what I mean? Like,
it's crazy where we're at now with it, you know, and it's just like for instance, like the commercials you do, like I really don't see anyone else doing that. I don't see anyone putting up like clips of these bands' music videos and like just general information on who's coming with them. You know, you usually just get a flyer, but it's just like, no, I actually get a preview of what the band's going to sound like. I get to see who else is going to play with them that night. And it's just like, I feel like y'all have a formula that's really working out.
There's stuff that I just keep learning and seeing and pulling ideas from here and there and being like, how can I use this to help like this scene? Like how do we get people to come out shows? Because one thing like I like from certain shows is like they have communities built, and I'm like, how do these communities build in every genre? I'll tell you, like, hands down, the hardcore community, that shit is badass.
Tight,
like,
bro.
That shit is so fucking cool. How like, they just all like come together. They're very like, it's such a like, as far as like in my experience, like what I've like been to, like everyone's super like nice and accepting. Like there's so many people, they all know each other, so they all show out for like all their shows.
Dude.
Like, and I'm like, that's cool. I'm like, how does that become a thing for every other show? I go, why can't we do that? I go, why? Or how do we incorporate like some of that to make that like, I want to make sure, and that's kind of like the whole purpose. Like I want it to be this thing where you actually want to be like, what do we do today? Like, there's a show happening. Let's just fucking go.
Right.
Like
it just makes it feel more, especially like these podcasts. It just feels more personable. You know, it just doesn't feel like here's another promotion thing. Like it just, I don't know anyone else doing a podcast. I think I've done one other podcast in total, but it's just like you don't have that in this scene, you know. And I feel like it's given a better representation of like the people who are actually making this music. You know, we're not just. I mean, yeah, we're all trying to make it, but at the same, like we're all humans. We're just trying to get our message or art across, you know. And I feel like it's really cool with these podcasts that you can just talk to people, you know,
because there's so many. Like I wish there was more podcasts, because then you could like really get a good picture of like all these, because there's like branches of like music that I haven't even touched, like that are you would consider like them like, you know, DFW staples for this, and I'm like, I haven't even gotten there yet, like to all these people. And there's so many that's why like is a little bit of guilt that I have when like I take time off, is that like, man, like I could be talking to so many people every week, like but also like I have to notice that like, oh, it does take it like a toll. Like I gotta make sure like I can still handle my own, so I can keep doing it. Like I gotta make sure I'm good so we can keep doing it. But that's one of the things that I love about this, is like that there's so many people that will get a chance to be on here, and there's not like
you need qualifications.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
it's not like I don't am like, no, like they're not cool enough to be on here, because I don't care. Like I could potentially, like it's realistic to think like there's gonna be people on here that I don't love their music or anything like that, or their whatever they're making. I go, but will I let them talk? Sure. Like why
Absolutely.
not? Why the fuck not? Like they're still people at the end of the day, and it's still like perspective. You know what I mean? Like that's one thing. Like I'm trying to invite a little bit more people that I don't know. To add that separate perspective, so I don't like feel like I know your perspective, and just try to add like some different
and see what you can
something
pull
to
from
throw
there.
off of. Yeah, it's because I also like want to learn like off of these things. Like that's what I do a lot of, is just like I listen to, and I'm like, oh, I picked something up here and there, and then like, okay, let's do it. Like today enough, like all the stuff with the lights and things like that, just soft lighting, like things like that. These are like little, like you would think they're little things, but for me it's like back in my head, like that's there now. Now I know that stuff, and it's enjoyable. Like I like being able to bring these and do them for people. And there's so many talented people around here that that was one of my things with this podcast. I knew that I would never run dry of people to talk to, like ever. Like it's crazy. Like I get, you know, everybody's doing something like creative in their own like way, dude. Like it's insane. It's insane how many people around here.
I mean, like the first couple of Chill Sounds, like when Blaze Culture came out, I was like, what the hell? Like, we have this? Like,
exactly. I was just like, wait, what the hell? Like, it's insane. And they're right around, you know, the corner, and they were doing that for a while, you know. Like, that's so fucking cool.
And it's just discovered. Like you said, it's just crazy how like we went from like bare minimum. I mean, not bare minimum, you know. We just had to what we had to now with like pretty much everything is almost DIY. Like everything y'all have done besides like the 420 takedown, Chill Sounds, that's all DIY. Like I'm pretty sure like when people see that, they think it's just like that's a promoter, you know, they're just like someone got this venue. Like no, this is like 4 guys renting. I you know, it's
and to be honest, like Chill Sounds dead ass, like we all helped, but DJ organized that shit by himself. That's which crazy. Is when he was like, imagine if you had help. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's literally like, because we all helped out, but it was just like, he did like all the groundwork for it, and we're just like, what do you need us to do? Like, right. We'll, you know, be here. And it wasn't until like, and now that's when we were just like, dude, you did that on your own. Like, that was on your, like, what can we do? And that's what we're trying for this year, is like figuring out like what, with a, like an entire like team, and then with the ideas that we have like for this Chill Sounds, October 15th.
I was about to say, do we got any news updates on who's playing?
It's October 15th. Can I? When are we announcing anything?
Guys, I think we'll get it.
This comes out next Wednesday.
Okay. Well, we can wait. We can't get one. We can't get one. I'm trying here, guys. I'm trying.
Hey, right. I keep trying to check in with DJ. He just gives me a look. He's like, shut the fuck up.
Either way, I think it's coming soon.
So I can tell you that the announcements for lineups will be coming out soon, and they're it's gonna be a fun as one. Like the music will be fun. The stuff we have set up for vendors is fucking cool, and the curveballs this year are pretty bad.
I'm excited.
It's some featured like stuff that will.
Yeah, I kind of heard something. I was like, "Ooh,
yeah,
what?"
It will be different, and it's gonna be a fun time. Like it's literally like I'm excited. Like I know it's gonna be work, but bro, like this shit is fun. Like this at the end of the day, like I'm looking at like what these people are gonna take away from a show, a festival like this, and it's just so great. And like that's all I hear like from people who went to the first like Chill Sounds too, that we did. People still talk about like those like memories that they had. I was like, I just want to create more of those for people going through. Like, what would I have wanted like when I was going to shows and stuff like that? I want to get as close to that. I want to get as close to like offering people like memories, because at the end of the day, like man, those are what you take with you. You know what I mean? Like those are the stuff that you have. Like that shit was cool.
Those
like,
stuff you remember, man.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. I want one clarification before we go. You said DP earlier, and I know you mean director of photography.
Yes.
Not double penetration.
Yes.
I know people at home.
Come on,
people
OC,
at home are wondering.
on,
people at home are wondering.
Come on, guys. Director of photography. Come on. I'm not out here getting rooftop gravel DPs, okay?
Not yet, but hey, if you need help with your OnlyFans, we got a DP right here.
I got the camera. I got the lights. Hit your boy up.
That DP.
I do funeral streams.
Oh my God.
Divorce court streams.
Divorce court. Dude, we were talking about, not divorce court, but not talking about TV. We kept we were pitching bad ideas out to like what kind of like shows we can make for like our YouTube. And one was like, what if we just like catch people out in the scene and like air out their dirty laundry and then have them run away and follow them like Maury. Shaky camera and all.
You're like, sir, did you take all those ticket sales?
Just like
that's actually like that's awesome. Yeah. I think we should actually do that. I actually have this idea for a documentary, man, and fuck, I don't want to say it because
don't say it. It's probably good. You'll say it after this is done. You can tell me after this.
I'll talk to you about it, man. But don't be surprised if you see a documentary from me in the next few years. Ooh. Yeah, I'll tell you about it after this, but y'all can't know.
Oh man. Yeah, man. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
I honestly would talk more, but I'm looking at this thing and we're about to time out before one of these will overheat. I need to stop saying that because people will know I'm broke. Yeah, you should know I'm broke. All right, I do all this shit for free. All right.
Don't act like we're not poor. Poor is an awful mindset. Okay, we're just broke. Okay,
broke. We're not poor.
We're broke.
We don't have money.
We don't have money.
Don't have any money. All right. So if you'd like to donate money, if you see me just right here,
right there,
that's where you put the money. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I love doing this, and I know why we do shit like this. Like we were talking about, like going out to shows and being able to just do it, just to do it. You know what I mean? Just to do it for the art, and I like doing this like to help the scene out. Like if you want to do anything, is find some work with this guy. Let him film your band. He's trying to just have a good time, invite him to shows, and then for us, just go to any show. I don't care, NoiseROT, whatever you want to do.
You will most likely see me at this NoiseROT show.
Just go see a show, go out, enjoy live music. There's so much of it here and everywhere, but we're lucky here. I'm not gonna lie. In DFW, you can throw a rock and hit like 50 shows within like the same distance of your town. So definitely go out and see some music. And Bert, thank you for stopping by, man. I really appreciate you. Love you, buddy.
Love you too, buddy.
All right, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.